Good morning, welcome to Tyrolit Tool School. Today the topic is the large angle grinder. See you in a bit. Good morning, welcome back to Tyrolit Tool School. Today the topic, the large angle grinder. So I have a large angle grinder, 230 millimeters and 178. The tools that are still used quite a bit, not as frequent as they used to be in the past. Why? Because they're heavy and they need a little bit of force. But they're still used a lot. Now, Tyrolit has a very large range of products that can be used on those angle grinders, especially the 178 and especially the 230. So there's a large range of products that we can use on those two machines. Now, the one that I would like to start with is not an unknown disc, is our Cerabond X disc. The Cerabond X is our ceramic grain resin, special resin for the grain grinding disc. 230 by 7, a large disc for a lot of stock removal. It will give you a lot of stock removal, especially with a powerful machine. Because of the grain, you don't need to force it. It will work very well. The disc itself is designed for steel and stainless steel. Now it can be used, and it is used, on also more exotic alloys. Exotic alloys like hardox, that can be tungsten carbide welding seams, that can be materials, duplex material for instance. Stuff like that, that is tougher, that is harder to work on. This disc will actually work very well on that. Now, to give you a quick example on what can be done with this kind of disc and that kind of tool, I have this steel plate here, which is about 28, I think it's 18 millimeters thickness, and I'm just gonna grind some material off. It will go fast, it will go smooth, it will go quick by using the Cerabond X disc for that. So, it's pretty standard, but the disc itself, combined with a large angle grinder, it actually works very, very well. So, of course, the tool I'm having here is the normal electrical one. Of course, you can have high frequency machines, which unfortunately are disappearing a bit, or you can, of course, have air pressured machines like Atlas Copco or others that are extremely powerful and bring a lot of performance to the game. So, let's show you what the disc can do and what the machine does. As you probably could hear, there's a lot of noise there, but a lot of stock removal. So I chamfered the whole thing there. You can see it is rough, but it hasn't burned. That means performance of the machine, together with the disc, with the ceramic disc, is absolutely very, very nice. Also, I'll show you the disc. And I've used the disc before, so you can see a little bit of chamfering on the disc itself, but almost nothing. So this is a disc that has a great lifetime. Combined with a tool like that, on something like this, absolutely very, very, very good. So a lot of stock removal there, fast, easy. I didn't have to force it, just the power of the machine and the weight of the machine to remove a lot of material easily. So this is a Cerabond X combined with the large angle grinder. Now, do we have more? Yes, we do. Of course we do. We have another disc, also Cerabond X, but not for steel or stainless steel or more exotic alloys. No, in this case, we're talking about a disc for cast iron. Also, the resin is different. It's a soft disc. The specification is a softer resin. Why? Less vibration, easier, more comfortable to work with. Still, the stock removal is going to be there, top, but it will be more comfortable, easier for the operator to work with a disc like that. So we developed the range which is called soft, in this case the one for cast iron, that actually will work smoother, easier, more comfortable for the operator to work on parts like that. So if you have to be careful concerning your vibrations, this is something that actually pays off. It brings a benefit. It brings an advantage for the operator concerning vibrations. So I said it's for cast iron. I have a piece of cast iron here. So there we go. There we go. I'm just going to quickly show you. You're probably going to hear also a little bit of difference between this one and the one that I used before. You normally hear a little bit of difference in sound because of the difference in resin. So, nice and easy stock removal. Also, notice this has been done before with another disc not designed for cast iron, and you can see the burning marks on that. In this case, with the Cerabond X for cast iron, good stock removal, no overheating, no burning marks on this part. So again, the ceramic grain of the Cerabond X combined with the large angle grinder absolutely works very, very nice. Now, what else do we have? And it's a topic that I keep coming back to. Why? Because I think it's very interesting. Is the Cerabond X 2-in-1, steel and stainless steel, hard ox and so on, but 4mm. So not, there we go, not 7mm as the normal one. Now I'll take it, try to bring that next to it. So you can see the difference between the thick one, 7mm, and the 4mm one. Now why this? Because this basically you can use for grinding and you can use it for cutting. It works both ways. It's a thinner grinding disc that allows you to work on parts that you grind down or cut down first, the flush, the feet of a cast, for instance, and then after that you grind it down with exactly the same disc. This is a benefit you have with that kind of a disc. Because of the ceramic grain, it will work actually quite aggressive. It will actually work quite aggressive, and it will remove and cut quite good. Because normally 4mm is like, ooh, okay, but in this case it does work well. It does work well. So yes, do we know customers that are doing exactly that? Yes, we do. A lot of shipyards, a lot of foundries where you have small to medium parts, size parts. That's what they use there, because they can use one disc for 2 operations. And as I said, with the ceramic grain, that works pretty cool. So I'm going to use a little bit of normal steel to do a cut and grind a bit. As you can see, cutting goes nice. A nice fast cut. Of course, it is 4 millimeters at least. So it goes a bit slower, but it will do it. You don't have to change the disc. And then the removal itself, that actually goes very quick. So is it this that you can use if you have very heavy parts, like the part that I have lying here? Nah, probably it's not going to be ideal. But for smaller costs, smaller parts, absolutely ideal, absolutely interesting to use something like that. So what else do we have in that kind of a range? So what else, I'm not going to show you everything or demonstrate everything, I'm going to explain you what we have, is for instance, we have also the basic fast cut grinding disc for the large angle grinder, 230 by 6 millimeters. So you have a fast cut, which means it's a disc with a softer resin. It's basically the disc that we sell in every size, 115, 125, 178, and 230 the most worldwide. This is the grinding disc we sell the most pieces. So why? Because it's comfortable, it's a bit softer, fast cut, means it goes good. Lifetime is a bit less, but therefore more comfortable. And because it wears down faster, you have a very good stock removal rate. Of course, it's not a Cerabond X, but for this kind of a disc, it does work well. And it looks pretty. It is the prettiest grinding disc in the world, I would say. You have the pattern on there to create a kind of a swirl that removes the chips, and you have that laid-in pattern that actually makes it a little bit pretty. So again, this is the disc that actually works well because it's softer, removes material quite well, and is a disc that we sell actually pieces-wise the most worldwide. So that's also a disc we have for the large angle grinder. Another one that we have is a troubleshooter. A troubleshooter. Why? It's a basic one-star product for cast iron, and the specification is called AC30N. The N stands for a very, very soft disc. And the AC stands for a blend between aluminum oxide and silicon carbide. Why this blend is because it is to remove sand cast. So if you have parts, and I have a part here, oh hell, it's heavy. So this is a cast part with sand, and the sand is actually baked into the metal. Now to remove that, any other disc will actually start glazing. The grain is going to get dull and it's not going to work properly anymore. So this disc, the AC30N, is designed to remove that. The soft resin and the silicon carbide mixture will actually remove that and get rid of it. That's where that disc has been designed for. It's something that not everybody knows that something like that is, but that's a troubleshooter for that exactly that kind of applications. So that actually works pretty good on something like that. So that is the disc called the AC30N for cast iron. It's also, you'll find that also on the specification. AC30N is all on there, and that's what it's designed for. If you go into our catalog, you will find all that information in there. Now, what else do we have? Of course, we have cutting discs, slitting disc. A cutting disc would be the 3mm Serabondex for cast iron. So you have a deep rest center. Deep rest center means it's not a straight disc. There we go. There you can see this is not a flat disc. It's a shape 42. 3mm is a disc designed for cutting. Only cutting. It's not a disc that you can use for, because it's 3mm, you can use for grinding. No, you cannot. You cannot. You really do not do that. The disc is not made for that. It's a stable cutting disc, only for cutting. We also have the 230 by 2mm Serabondex cutting disc, or slitting disc. So this is something I don't want to address. That is, we're going to mount this disc onto the machine, on the big angle grinder, the large angle grinder, and this is the mounting flange for that machine. Now this one is the same one for a 125 or a 5-inch angle grinder. It's exactly the same size. It's exactly the same thing. So the disc is larger though. It's 230. It's a 9-inch disc. Means that the disc can do that. It can vibrate. It can not run straight at the beginning until you start cutting. So what we've done in order to address that problem is we made a flange of 76mm that actually will clamp the disc properly so that it runs straight, doesn't vibrate, and the disc is well supported. So it's a small gadget that we have in our range that actually will help with that. So how to use that? Fits on most angle grinders. I'm not saying on every angle grinder, on most angle grinders. Put it on there. You use the disc. Put that on there. And then actually you tighten that with the nut, the key. There we go. And we're done. So this disc is going to run stable. Is absolutely going to run stable. I'm going to use, what can I use for that? I'll take this, I'll take quickly the steel plate and do a small cut on that one. A very nice, easy, smooth cut. Weight of the machine, let it go, and it actually goes, it runs through that very nice, very smooth. And as you can see also, it's a wide cut, actually nice, no overheating. And also on the wear on the disc, there's nothing gone. There's nothing removed from the disc itself. So this is how it should be. This is also, you could see the disc runs very, very nice, very stable, straight cut down, absolutely as it should be. So this is for the 230mm machine, the 9-inch grinder. Now, do we have other stuff for that as well? Yeah, we do. We do. It's a 1.9 2-in-1 premium disc for steel and stainless steel. Depressed. Depressed center means it's not a straight disc, it's a shape 42, which means, what is the difference between a straight disc and this one? This will give you a little bit more stability because of the shape. That's the difference. A depressed center will create a bit more stability for the disc. You don't need this flange for that. This actually, with mounts on the machine, actually works perfectly. So also that is something that is interesting to use on a larger machine like that. So what else do we have? Now I'm going to go to direction of the 178 millimeter, the 7-inch grinder. We have, I said before, the 3 millimeter disc, the large one, cutting only cutting. Now we do have a specification that is called cut and grind. Yes, it is officially a disc 178 by 3.5 millimeters thickness that you can use for both operations. You can cut with it, you can grind with it. It is designed to do that. It's the disc is within the OZ tolerances, blah, all that kind of stuff, safety. It is allowed to use this disc for cutting and grinding. And this is something people need to be aware of. So I'm going to quickly show you what that disc can do on a piece of concrete steel. Where I'm quickly going to cut something off and grind a little bit on that to show you what the disc can do. So, cutting, not a problem. Grinding, not a problem. Also, a disc that, if you have a welding seam fiddling alongside the welding seam, that disc actually does work very well. So you can see that I actually removed the material very easily. Absolutely very nice. White cut as well, so that's also good. So, and there you can see the material removed. There we go. So if I would try to do that with the 3 millimeter that I've addressed before, then that would be a serious issue. It would fly apart. So this one is designed to do stuff like that. What else do we have on a disc like that? Is, for instance, a rondeller. Earlier this week I got an email. That's the reason why I've taken this disc as well. Is about scale removal. Scale removal on steel is always an issue. We have a disc that is designed for that. To show you the disc, it's that kind of, there we go. This kind of a disc, you have that pattern. It's a softer disc, less heat development, softer resin, and you don't dig into the workpiece. You go as flat as possible on it, just to remove the scale layer. I'm going to do that on that part, so to show you what it is. This is, again, a solutions disc for scale removal, without damaging too much the workpiece. The disc is designed to do that. as you can see, the material, the scale is gone. I can actually touch it like this. There's no overheating whatsoever. No gouging in. And also, if you look at the disc itself, this is the second time I'm using this disc today, and there's no wear whatsoever. The reason why is because I don't force it. I let the disc and the machine do the work. I'm not forcing it down. I'm not trying to gouge into that workpiece. Absolutely works perfectly like that. So the last one that I want to demonstrate to you is our natural fiber disc. Natural fiber disc made out of jute. So natural fiber, you don't need a backup pad. It's like an alternative to a fiber disc for special applications. So also a 7-inch disc, grid 36 ceramic, Cerebond X range, to remove material also in difficult to reach places. Like, for instance, if I need to work to remove that welding seam there, this disc will actually do that. You go on there, you grind that down. So that's what I'm going to try to show you is quickly how this works. Or another one is on tubes like that you see there, the welding seam on there, and chamfering on a tube like that. These are fairly thick, so also that is something that it will work very nicely on. Because I just noticed the time, and we are slightly getting over that. But I think this is something a lot of people don't know that this exists, and it does bring a benefit. It is interesting, and to show you what the disc can do. So I'm going to use the big tube with the welding seam on top of that and chamfer that a little bit. So, removal of the welding seam. Easy, quick, fast, not a problem. Then starting to chamfer that with a little bit of pressure going around it. You can also, you don't see a lot of wear on the disc itself. A lot of stock removal, and if I only would work with the outside 6 millimeters, I can trim this. You can actually trim that disc. You go to a sharp edge, you go onto that, you trim it, you can use it further. So that's a benefit you have with a natural fiber disc, the Cerebond X natural fiber disc. And then the last thing, I'm just gonna point it out. It's one of my favorite ones. C-trim, old disc, but a great disc. C-trim designed to work on edges, chamfering, beveling, inside of big tubes where you need to remove a burr. This is a flap disc that is actually designed for that. Also in a 7-inch or a 178 millimeter disc. This is it. What I want to tell you, as you can see, it's a large program that we have, and we do even have more than that. So if you're interested in that, if you work with tools like this and you would like to have some more information, ask our technical specialists regionally. Let us know what you're doing, and we'll try to help you as good as we can. So please do, and I'm very much thankful for you being here at Tool School, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time at Tyrolit Tool School. So be well, all the best, have a great day, and until next time.